Hey everyone, Stacy here, and this is my second life vlog. My and my first live life vlog. um, you might have seen I'm doing some new things with my things. I'm trying to make it easy for people who want to see certain things from me to easily find them. So I'm putting a bracket with like what the video is. Either it's going to be reselling, gaming, sports cards, or life. And this is a life vlog, even though this is more related to YouTube and things that we're going to deal with on YouTube. It's still my life. So I wanted to talk a little bit about flaming and trolls and jackasses, because this is the internet and there are a lot of them here. like just a ton. And I personally have super thick skin, and I'll get to the story of kind of what I went through, the process, and the horrible thing that happened to me, so that to get here where nothing bothers me. But I want to say that I understand a lot of people are really sensitive and they don't want to be insulted. They don't want people to make comments about them. And the thing you have to realize, as unfair as it is, the internet feels anonymous to most people, and they feel like they can say and do things they would never say and do if they're standing in front of you. And as a result, people can be very mean on the internet. And if you are an overly sensitive person who can't just shrug that kind of stuff off, this may not be a good platform for you. And it's unfortunate to say that, because I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but you have to have tough skin if you're going to be putting out videos on YouTube. You just simply have to, because for as nice as most people are going to be, you're going to get drive-by jackasses. You just simply are. And the more popular your video gets, the more of those jackasses you're going to get. So back to the topic. A few weeks ago, Anita Sarkeesian, I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with her, but she had a Kickstarter about a year ago where she was doing a YouTube series called Video Game Tropes versus Women. And in this, she's basically talking about the misogyny that basically exists in the game industry and pervades it. And there were some things that happened over the weekend in the video game industry, or during this week at GDC, that pissed off a few people, and people have resigned as a result from things. And I support their decisions 100%, because, if we don't start taking a stand about the misogyny, it's not going to go away. So I completely support Darius Kazemi and Brenda Brathwaite, well, Brenda Romero. I knew her back before she married John Romero. But I completely support their decisions to resign from their responsibilities with the IGDA over a party that the IGDA hosted with scantily clad women. And the reason why this would be such a big deal, and I'm getting off topic, I know, but the reason why this would be such a big deal is that the IGDA is supposed to be a platform for change. And the fact that they would host a party with scantily clad women, and their platform for change, a big part of their platform for change is women in game development and how to appeal to them more. It was contrary. So I completely support that decision. In the video game industry, there is a lot of struggle still for women to fit in, to be accepted, to not be treated like second-class citizens. And I was in the video game industry. I experienced this firsthand quite a bit. So back to the trolling and the flaming. I didn't get to the point where I'm at today, where I'm not bothered by anything anybody says, by waking up one day and going, hey, I'm not going to be bothered. No, and of course not. And that may just be something everybody has to go through themselves. It's a learning experience. And so my story begins in early 2001, and I was just getting my start in the video game industry. My husband and I were trying to get pregnant, so I wasn't going out looking for a job. I had quit a job I hated, and I worked for Delphi, and I hated it. So I went, and so we decided to have children, and since I was going to stay home with the kids, there was no point in me going out and looking for another job while we were trying to get pregnant. So I started looking around at different things. I was getting bored of playing games, video games. All I did was play video games all day, every day. I was getting bored of that, so I started doing some volunteer writing. And then early 2001, I got hired by Vault Network, and they were just recently purchased by IGN. And I was running a fan site, and one of the IGN, you know, they had just bought us, and they came to us and said, your forums are a mess. You need to bring them in line with IGN forum policies, mainly referring to the profanity that was allowed on those forums. So there was a lot of profanity. We didn't have a lot of set rules for that sort of thing. So the internet loves change. You know how this is going to go, right? So we had to, you know, announce that we were no longer going to be allowing profanity, and personal attacks had to, you know, go away, you know, which is hard for PvPers, and it's hard for moderators also to understand what is a personal attack and what is normal PvP behavior. So most of the forums took it fine. They were like, yeah, whatever. But we had one forum in particular, and it was a PvP forum, who did not like the change in policy at all. And somehow it was voted at some point. There were about 4 people that could have been the face of the policy, the person who announced it basically, and it was voted it was going to be me. And I was new, so I didn't really understand what I was getting myself in for in doing this. So we announced it, and this forum rioted. They went nuts, and moderators started having to ban people because they were willfully disobeying the new rules that we had no control over, that IGN had dictated to us. And it's not that I disagreed with them. I absolutely agreed with them. But, you know, it was a monetary decision on IGN's part. They couldn't put advertisement on those forums until the forums are cleaned up. They want to make money. You know, everything, almost everything in this world is dictated by monetary goals. So we had to clean the forums up. And in the process of rioting, a lot of people got banned, and people started creating new websites. We're fine, we don't need you guys, we're just going to go over to this website and make our own website. You know, none of the sites really ever took off, of course. You know, people ended up, you know, coming back slowly and starting to obey the rules and that sort of thing over time. But initially it was crazy. And, you know, on these new websites, they would describe in detail how they wanted to torture, rape, murder, and dismember me. At the time, I was still relatively anonymous on the internet. I wasn't like I am today, where I'm super easy to find and I'm very transparent in my life. All I had was my online nickname. Very few people even knew my first name. So I wasn't too worried about any of these threats actually being carried through. But to read this kind of anger directed at you in graphic detail was difficult. And I was also about 3 weeks pregnant at the time. So it eventually died down. Nobody ever carried through on their threats. And, you know, to this day, there are people there who still hate my guts and blame me for destroying everything that they loved. But most people got over it. And in that experience, going through that experience, being a woman in video games, you know, if you're a man in video games, you might get threats of, I'm going to kick your ass, or you're, you know, or called names, but you're not going to get the level of attack that a woman gets, unfortunately. And it's much more personal towards women. And the crazy thing is, none of these people would be like that in real life. None of these people are jerks in real life. You know, they're probably great people. But on the internet, in their space, they felt like they were justified in saying extreme things about me and towards me. And so what I want to say here is, people will drive by all the time here on my forum, my show, and it's getting worse as time goes on, because I'm getting more popular. You know, and they'll say things like, you know, they'll call me a fatty, and I'm overweight, so yeah, what's your point? And honestly, and I'll make this another blog someday, I don't want to be skinny again. I was super skinny once upon a time, and I never, ever want to be skinny again. So I'm comfortable in my own skin. I think you kind of have to be in order to do YouTube videos too. But, and they'll say things like that, or I'll get the comments, show your boobs, you know, like, I just ignore those. I block the user, I delete the post, report it as spam, and move on. And those people get barely any of my attention or thoughts. And I just want to share my story in the hopes that it will help with perspective. Because my perspective is, and I'm very lucky in a way, I mean, very unlike, nobody should have to go through what I went through. But I'm very lucky in a way that that came very early on in my career in video games, because anything anybody ever said to me after that was, yeah, you're trying to flame me, whatever. That's weak. I've been flamed way worse than that, because really I experienced the worst treatment you can on the internet. And so nothing bothers me anymore when it comes to comments on the internet. So I'm hoping that, like, in sharing my story, that it will help people with perspective and encourage people to ignore the trolls, because the trolls want a reaction from you. They want you to respond to them, or to decide you're not going to make videos anymore. Or they don't give them any wins. Don't give them any victories. You know, just don't. And since this is live, I guess I can go look at a few comments. See if anybody's even watching. Oh yeah, I've got some viewers. Hello everyone. How you doing? Just a couple of comments. Nice to you. Typical O'Hara says, hi Stacy, who cares what they think? Mean people just be mean wherever they're at. Karma will get them. I'm not a big believer in karma getting people either. I believe that a lot of people completely get away with being jackasses on the internet because it's the nature of the internet. I think a lot of them are probably young and immature. 99% of those people, when they meet you, would never say things like that to you. The 1% who would are wastes of space, and there I said it. No, the 1% of people who are jackasses in person, they're not even worth your time either. Like, you know that they've got so many issues in their life that them attacking you is just a way to make themselves feel better because they hate their life. Rakin Prophet says, hey, what's going on, Stacy? Hope you're feeling better. I am, thank you. I'm feeling great, actually, and I probably can tell by the way I'm talking and my energy level. Yeah, last night was pretty bad. But I'm feeling great today. I've been able to eat and drink, and my energy is back to normal. So I feel good, but thank you. And Dark101 is here. Hello, hi. Okay, well, this is just, a quickie live vlog. I don't want to make it super long because that's kind of the point of this. But if you like what I'm doing with these live vlogs, please click like on these videos and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm enjoying doing the live vlogs and the non-live vlogs like the one I did last night, where I just recorded it on my phone because I didn't have the energy to get out of bed and go to my computer to do it. I was like, yeah, I'll just do it on my phone. And that's why the quality was really poor as well. But that's going to happen sometimes. I'm just going to vlog from my phone sometimes, and that's why I'm differentiating between vlogs and live vlogs. And I hope you like the bracket thing I'm doing now. I hope it helps people find the content they want on my channel, because I know I put up a lot of content now. So thank you everyone for watching. And oh, I've got new comments. I guess I can look at them real quick. The Cherry Vintage says, I get those occasionally too. In my opinion, they are either bored teens without social skills, or they are sick, demented people. I never respond. Block and ignore. Exactly. Block and ignore. And, that's what you got to do, because if you give any kind of reaction, they're just going to keep coming back to you and make your life more miserable. So if they don't get a reaction, they move on. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching. Like and subscribe. Visit me on Facebook, Krause House of Cards, and I shall see you next time I decide to do one of these. Bye.